Hello and welcome to my blues piano tutorial on extended blues chords. Why should we extend these three fellas? They have been such good companions for us. Because we spend so much time with those, and my experience as a teacher is a couple of new chords make for a lot of new motivation on the player's side. The licks sound different and everything is just more, there's new light coming into your life. You start helping people over the street and you smile at animals and all this stuff because you have new chords. Let's have a look at the extended family beside mother, father and son, let's say. And first we have a look at a certain type of relationship that is by the key. We could also say when we stay with the humans by blood, like your brother or your sister. So if we stay on the keys of C and we build these steps, chords just with the notes of the C, we come to these 7 steps. And you know already the first step, the first, the fourth and the 5th step. We also call them the 1, the 4 and the 5. Or if we are on stage and there's a gig and we play a song we never played before, the singer is just showing like tak, means now go to the 5. Or he shows like tak, go to the 1. So 1 for 5, but there are more. We have some of more interest than others. The 2. The 2 is our next buddy. The first replacement for the subdominant in blues was its minor third counterpart. You go minor third down. You could also name it the minor parallel chord, but I don't want to be too theoretical today. It's such a nice sunny day and theory is dark and complicated. So that would be the D minor chord. Let's have a look if that sounds good, if we combine them, and then you will see that the relationship between, like from the blood, is working. And we can also play them as the D minor chord as a D minor 7 chord. And for example, we play 4 bars C, and 4, now you see, the resolution was instead of 4, 5, 4, it was the 2, 5. And that has become so common that you see a lot of literature, also in jazz, it has become one of the main jazz chord progressions, the 2, 5. The second step, minor 7, and the dominant 7 chord. And you know also some blueses that have this, uses this second step. And that is, for example, the, what's it called? Stormy Mondays are using it. It goes like 2. So it's become quite commonplace. Of course, still quite rare compared to the 4-5, but still very often the 2-5 resolution. And you should start to play. Just play around with these chords and make up your own little progressions. The next relative by blood is Auntie A minor. It's the 6th step. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's just 1 over the 5. As it's quite common with the 6. It's very rare that the 6 is below the 5. So, now we have Auntie A, and play this as a minor, and we check it for playability. Nothing would be worth anything, no theory would be of worth if it wouldn't sound good. So the double check is always sound, play. Yes, Auntie A minor is a nice auntie. Starts to sound a bit muddy here, but it still works. Whoa, we found two nice relatives, Auntie D minor and Auntie A minor. Okay? Now there is another type of relationship, and that relationship is by the relationship of the dominant seventh chord. You know this relationship already from G dissolving into C. You know, the dominant seventh chord has the unique ability or sound that wants to resolve into its own one. Its own one means going down a fifth. So the G7 is the dominant seventh chord of C. Now, what happens, and I call sometimes, let's call this relationship coming into the family by marriage. So we have the blood relationship and we have by marriage. And so let's see who's marrying into the family. What if we take the dominant of G? That will be D7, right? It's a fifth. D7 is not by relative by blood. It has a mole on the nose, and that is never happening in our family. So there's a strange new thing coming in, as it is with husbands who marry into the family and who sometimes are liked and sometimes not. Sometimes they bring trouble. So it would mean we play the dominant of D, because the dominant is not just dominant of the one of the basic blues, but of anything a fifth down. So this would be the dominant of anything G. You can also call this a temporary dominant, because it's not the this has to resolve to G, and this has to resolve back to C. You can also call this, like theoretical people call this, the double dominant, because it's the dominant of the dominant. But the effect of dissolving into the next fifth down is always there, and that allows us some really, really nice things. Let's have a look. Sound test. Okay, I'm resolving now already to save time. Ooh, it's a very common sound to your ear, right? It happens a lot. So, husbands marrying in can be good husbands, and this is a good one. It's the dominant of the dominant, it's D. D resolves to anything G. It could also resolve to G major. So the tension is so strong that anything on G, even if G is the next dominant, even then it works. And there we have a term I call chain of dominance. Yeah? So it's a one dominant of C, and we chain another dominant to it, and this works perfectly. Now we play the D7. Great sound, you see? This kind of relationship is also very strong. Now, I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't show you even more new husbands coming into the family. Because now it's getting interesting. We have the Dominant of G is D7. The dominant of anything D is A7. A7, fifth down, is D. We extended the chain of dominance. Sound test. Oh, isn't that just great? And it's quite cheeky, isn't it? Because we are in C, and this has actually nothing to do, basically, with C. If we go to A and back to C without resolving the whole circle, it would sound wrong. Let's see. That is oddly strange and oddly wrong. But if we jump into the beginning of the dominant chain and resolve it, it's just perfect. And dominant G7. Now, can we combine these? Of course we can. Of course. I'll give you an example. I told you that A7 is dominant of anything D, right? Of anything D. So, what Christian would be lying if this wouldn't be also dominant of D minor 7. Now we went from A7 to D7. Sound check. Now we try the D minor 7. Yes, it works. Huh? So we have another possibility to combine these, like the D minor, the A minor, and the A7 to the D minor, and all finishing on this G7, which then leads back to the root, to the tonic. Now comes a very beautiful extension, and that is, remember Auntie A minor? Auntie A minor also has a husband, and that husband is called E7. E7 is the dominant of anything A, fifth down. Now play you something. Just sit down, get strengthened, eat an apple, because, now listen. Yes, I'm just smitten. I'm getting really emotional now because this is one of my favorites. We're using even the E7 in between, which is married to this one, which is a blood relative of this one. Okay, let's see. Then now the E7. This is otherwise a really weird note in C. It would be completely wrong. And we go to A minor. And this has been used a lot, either with E7 going to A minor, or now you learned already, you know that E7 is the dominant of anything A. So, let's see if you remember this song. That's right. That is take 5. No, it's not. It's Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out. And it uses just what I taught you. Now you can write hits on your own. It's C, E7, and A7. Now A7 is dominant of anything D. D minor 7. Back to hubby. Back to son, wife. Fantastic, huh? Fantastic. Eric Clapton must have watched this tutorial even before it was out, like about 30 years before. So, we can do both. We can do C, D minor, G7, or we can do C, D7, the major counterpart of the minor chord. And basically, since this is a chain of major chords, C, A7, D7, G7, it's quite happy. There's not a single minor chord. It's a very typical ragtime chord progression. Nice, huh? Or, you know, this many blues songs use this. It's a very common, rather happy sounding chord progression. So, what else would we have? That was already plenty. But now you can, of course, go and also use the F7 just somewhere in the middle. Like if I would have been honest, I lied to you, because the Stormy Monday, that uses the resolution, I said it was using the 2/5, it actually uses, now, it uses between the 2 and the 5, it uses the F7. So you can all throw them around like you would throw around your money or your children, and try different stuff. You can also start from the 4, let's say we start from the 4. I just made that up. So you can make things up. Because we have the same, there's no magic, we have the same 6 or so chords that you can intertwine and combine. And that is very beautiful. Okay? Now go out there and fiddle around with those. And you can play all your usual licks with those. You know, if you have the, let's say, they fit, most of them fit. It's up to you to let your creativity play, let it play. Come back, see you again, it was a pleasure. I hope I could inspire you, and all the best from Berlin. I hope you liked my video and that you learned something. Now you can subscribe. Just press this subscribe button or click on another of my videos on this side. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.